showed, like, Amanda showed why she's pound for pound one of the best female fighters in the world. And Amanda showed why women came out here tonight and they stole the show. They stole the promotion. But they came out tonight with Devin Haney's a great fighter and showed it. Tremendous prospect. But in terms of the fight of the night was the fight of the promotion. And it was Serrano and Hardy. And they were fighting for something bigger than just their own product. They were fighting also for women's boxing. They got a big platform and they delivered. You know, and I was sitting there hoping to myself, that all I said to myself is I want them to both walk out healthy. I want them to give the best of what they are. Like I want them to leave it all in the ring. They did. I'm so thrilled with both women, and I'm so proud of them. And it's a rarity in our sport where something lives up to the hype. You know, it doesn't happen that often. It happens, thank God. And that's why the sport's so incredible. But tonight, that fight lived up to the hype. I mean, and those women delivered. They delivered not only for themselves, they delivered for women that would follow them. When people look back at the history of women's boxing, tonight's going to be something they're going to remember.
If Heather is looking for a strong guy, what do you think Amanda is needing?
I mean, whether it's Illinois.
That's right. That's
I mean, I think she's, you know, I mean, I think when you look at women's boxing, there are 4 women that stand alone right now at the moment. And it's Caressa, Amanda, Katie Taylor, and Cecilia. You know, you're looking at, like, you know, there's some pound-for-pound women. You know, like women like Person, who gave Katie hell. She's right up there too. Jessica McCaskill's coming. There are women who don't have titles like Tiara Brown, Raquel Miller. They're coming. Alicia Napoleon is coming. And there are a lot of girls out there that are coming. Serena, Rubina, they're all over the place. I mean, here's the wonderful thing. I can't even think and name all the quality women in boxing right now. When I first got into the sport 30 years ago, there were some great women, but the talent pool was so limited. Right now, there's a very deep talent pool, and you literally could make a great women's fight on every single fight card we do. You could have a championship level women's fight on every card, and I guarantee with good matchmaking, a great fight every single time. The women deserve better. They deserve more opportunities. They deserve more chances to show what they can do. Tonight, 2 of the best fought, and what you got pure entertainment. And I don't think there was anyone in that room that didn't love that fight. And when I'm on social media just now, when I went through my messages and what people are saying, they're saying great stuff. Because it wasn't, okay, you knew who the winner was. The winner was clear. But what you got was 2 women who gave the best of what they are, of who they are. And they both covered themselves in my mind with glory. I thought tonight, I thought Amanda was great, and I thought Heather was great. And I thought Amanda was, you saw Amanda Serrano, what she is and how good she is. You also saw what Heather Hardy is. And they should both be proud, and I think when, you know, I know Heather is heartbroken right now, but I think when Heather takes a breather and she takes a couple of days and relaxes and chills, and then she looks at what people saw in her performance tonight, I think she's going to be really, really proud. I also think she's going to do better. I mean, I don't think her career is over. I think tonight, in a lot of ways, was the best Heather's ever fought. And I think that she's going to get another opportunity to make a good payday, maybe another career high payday, because she earned it. And Amanda and Katie Taylor is a super fight. I mean, it's like, forget about male, female, whatever. It's 2 of the best fighters in the world fighting each other, and when they fight, that's one of the biggest fights. Maybe when it happens, it'll be the biggest fight that's happened in women's boxing.
Hey, Luke, seeing the first round, it seemed like Heather was in a lot of trouble. Granted, the fact that there was an
I gotta admit, my heart was in the mouth.
I'm seeing the fact that debate on 2-minute round, 3-minute round.
You know, I'm tired of fucking debating about 2 to 3 minutes. Shut the fuck up with people with the 3-minute round bullshit. Because the only people who keep talking about 3-minute rounds aren't going to accept them like women's boxing. If there were 5 fucking minute rounds, or 12 fucking round fights, or 15 round fights. If anything, if you really want to look at the world today, people want quicker fights. They want more action. They don't want length. Look at MMA and its success, and part of it is because of immediate gratification. And by the way, women can't get fucking attention or platforms or fights on cards in quantity, and making them longer is going to give women more opportunity?
Please.
Get the fuck out of here.
Exactly.
And on top
Preach,
of it,
brother.
this is one that really bothers me. This is one that really bothers me. I'm going to ask everybody who wants to ever talk about some bullshit, and this is a reality. women are more susceptible to head injury and concussion than men are. There's just a physiological difference, and that's a fact. And it's every major medical study that's been done shows the same thing. It's one of the reasons why in youth soccer, they're considering not having headers in girls' soccer matches, because women are far more susceptible to brain bleeds, far more susceptible to concussion, far more susceptible to recurrence of a concussion, far more susceptible to recurrent concussion syndrome. So there's a lot of reasons just to leave it where it is. And here's the other thing. You shouldn't fucking make less money and take more risk than the men are taking in the same fight.
Woo!
Right?
Talk about
So
it.
stop with the 2 and 3 minute round bullshit. And if anything, part of what made that fight was so exciting was the pace of the fight. The pace of the fight was fun. It was quick, it moved, and look, the average man is 3 minute rounds. It's very rare if you see a round where both fighters are going at it for 3 consecutive minutes, usually you see a shit round in the next round. And most of the time, you see a 3 minute round. How many times do you see a 3 minute round where one or both of the fighters takes a minute off? So I don't want, the debate, particularly, I made a point of doing this too. I try to see, look, it's a legitimate point, and there's some purists, and I get, they're not being haters. I don't think everyone that makes the point of a 2 or 3 minute rounds is. But I do see a lot of the haters, the people that are never going to accept women's boxing, go, women's boxing is shit, and you fight 2 minute rounds.
Thank you.
As far as Amanda and her next possible options, because like I think realistically, it's kind of safe to assume that the Kevin fight might not happen immediately after.
Well, we have a fight, we have a deal that the fight's supposed to happen within 6 months. And with that being said, I saw Katie's talking about moving up and fighting at 140. Amanda's not going to fight Katie at 140. Amanda's fought at 140, but let's face reality, she's not a big girl. You saw tonight, who was the bigger girl in the ring tonight? Heather was the bigger girl in the ring.
Right.
So Amanda's going to fight Katie at a weight class where it's really a pound-for-pound fight, and that's 135. So I know for certain Amanda will fight Katie next. I don't know that. Amanda waited a long time for this fight. She's been over about 6 to 8 months, and she needs to fight more often. So we're going to see what happens, and if the Katie fight is there and Katie's ready for it, we're ready for it. And if it's not, we're going to fight the biggest fight available to Amanda. Look, Amanda's shown it already, and she'll move weight classes, she'll do whatever. And let me tell you, do you think there's anybody that doesn't want to see Heather Hardy fight again? Everybody wants to see Heather Hardy fight again. And I think Heather, I think there's a decent chance Amanda will not stay at 26. And, for all we know, Heather could fight for a featherweight title again in her next fight.
Lou, Heather Hardy, after the first few rounds, she seemed to settle in, lock in a little bit.
Here's an amazing thing. I don't think I've ever seen Heather make adjustments in a fight. And it was very clear that she was a better fighter in the 4th and 5th round than she was in the first 2. It was very impressive. I thought, look, there was another thing too. And she's already spoke publicly about this. I don't think I'm stepping out of bounds by saying this. Heather, it's hard struggling for a living. It's hard being a single mother. Heather hasn't had an easy life. And Heather would would enjoy her glasses of white wine to chill and relax. And Heather has been completely sober now for months. And I don't think her physical condition was ever better than it was tonight. And I think that's what allowed her to survive that first round and get stronger in the fight. She was in the best physical shape of her career. And at the best she's looked, and she's 37, and she's not a baby. She looked better tonight physically, and that's what allowed her to weather the storm. And I think also the corner did a great job. Whatever they were telling her in the corner, she made adjustments, and her defense was far, far superior in the middle and late in the fight than it was early in the fight. So, and look, Amanda threw a lot of punches the first 2 rounds. The first round, I don't know how many punches. I don't know if there was punch down in that fight, but she threw a lot of punches. And she threw some major shots. And very few women weather that storm. But then again, I watched Heather in a Bellator match get kicked in the head 50 times, get her nose busted all over her face, and she still didn't go down. And the doctor had to stop it in the corner. So, whatever, I don't know if the octagon has a corner exactly, but whatever, the doctor had to stop it. There's no quitting Heather Hardy. She showed that tonight. And Amanda showed tonight why people talk about her as being done.
Did it bother you seeing Heather in doing MMA?
And that's why, I'm a little bit of a feminist. She's had a strong mom and mom was like, highly educated, but a lot of women her age, first generation, didn't do the things she did, and I was raised to believe women could do anything, because if I didn't believe them, my mother would smack me all over the fucking room. So, I am pro-women, but what women are starting to accomplish in our sport, people have to start paying attention, and look, most of the people, at least live in the arena tonight, came to see the girls fight, let's face reality. And you know what, for them to deliver, there was a lot of pressure on them to deliver, think about it. I mean, the way it worked out too, and Heather weathering that storm, if Heather would have got knocked out in the first round, people would have waved their hands and they said, oh, whatever, and women's boxing, and you know what, Heather wasn't going to go down. Heather wasn't, and Amanda knew it too. Amanda's always said Heather's one of the toughest people on earth. I mean, Heather was going to make it through that round, and my heart was in my mouth seeing how hurt she was. But I said to myself, she's going to make it through this round, and when she does, she's probably going to make it through this fight. I really felt that way. And when I watched her, like, again, she wasn't winning all those rounds, but she clearly was getting stronger, and her defense was getting better. And she fought, for her, she fought the best fight she could have fought. And to fight that kind of fight against a woman who is physically gifted as Amanda. Amanda's extremely gifted athlete. I mean, she's a tremendous athlete.
Why do you think women's MMA is seemingly a lot more sellable than women's boxing?
It's more sellable. I think she's gotten more opportunities. I mean, obviously this fight tonight was sellable. I mean, with no disrespect, but if you would let me put that fight on top of the card and let me use my New York roster of fighters and load this card up, I would have sold the women. I mean, it's sellable. It needs opportunity. And I thank Eddie for buying this fight. Seriously, I thank Eddie for buying this fight tonight, for giving these women an opportunity. I couldn't get Heather on Showtime years ago. I mean, I just couldn't. And I think you know what it was too, and I get it a little bit, they weren't that open. They were just starting to do women's boxing, and they wanted to do the pro wrestlers. They didn't really get a man. I mean, it was a big fight on Showtime. They wanted to do the pro wrestlers, pound for pound girls, kind of thing. But that's not what boxing's all about. It's also about the Arturo Gabbys and the Mickey Wards and thank you. And that kind of fight. And DAZN and Eddie have it's not only about Katie. Tonight DAZN had in a co-feature about two girls from Brooklyn, and the two girls from Brooklyn delivered.
We're going to see a fight between Nando and Katie.
Yes, it's going over here. Yeah, we're going to see it. We're definitely going to see it.
Yeah, Amanda signed for that fight before this fight. Katie's likely gonna have to do a deal with another one of Lou's fighters, because he also has the 140-pound world champion, which we're trying to make a deal with. Hopefully we'll get there this weekend to move up a weight class and try and become a two-weight world champion. But she remains with her belts at 135, and the deal in place with Amanda is for a fight at 135. So Katie makes 135 easy. She may be able to make 130, but unlikely now. But 135, no problem. So a fight with Katie and Amanda would be at 135 pounds. And as Lou said tonight, I probably already said it, probably a headline fight here. I don't believe there's been a women's headline fight at the Garden before,
And I said this to Eddie earlier, I really believe it. I think that if that fight is the main event at the theater, I think that fight will go clean. There will not be a walk-up. That fight will sell out in advance. That's how significant I think that fight is, and that fight's going to bring out the entire Irish population of New York and the entire Puerto Rican population of New York, and every New York boxing fan will want to see that fight. And it's not going to matter that it's a girls' fight. No one's going to look at it that way. They're going to look at it as two of the best fighters in the world, two of the best pound-for-pound fighters of the world fighting each other.
Possibly in March or June, we can do one of those fights.
Yeah, I think probably more like February or March, to be honest with you. I mean, look, it's September now. Amanda's just done 10 rounds, so she can have a nice rest. Katie's going to go early November, but she's had a good break. She's been fighting sort of 4th February or March.
And by the way, how good is Devin Haney?
Oh! Unbelievable.
That kid can fight.
20 years old.
This guy is, that kid's got like prodigy Like, that kid's got crazy talent. Crazy talent.
Well, I mean, if you're protecting him, no. But he doesn't want protecting. And he's 20 years old. Like, any promoter who looks at someone like Devin Haney, I don't mind telling you honestly, like, I want to slow them down, but they want to speed up. So Bill and Devin I'm gonna do what Bill and Devin tell me to do. They're the bosses.
Promoter probably doesn't want to make that fight right now, but I'll tell you what, you want to hear the fighter wanting it. You want to hear the fighter and his trainer screaming for it. I mean, how hard of you when you hear reasons from fighters why they shouldn't be fighting other top guys. That shit pisses me off. I'd rather see a 20-year-old kid telling me he wants to fight King Kong, because I know what that kid's made of. You know what I mean? Like, I want to hear this guy calling out Lomachenko. I don't even mind it when I love Lomachenko. He might be the best fighter on earth. I'll tell you this, he has the best footwork I've ever seen in my life. He's certainly one of the top 4 fighters in the world. But I want to see a 20-year-old kid calling out the best guy in the world. I think that's what you're supposed to do. You know, I'm not going to kid George Kambosos. Is he ready for Lomachenko? No. He's out there calling him out. I like to see that. Tells me who the kid is. You know, and Devin Haney's good, and he knows he's good.
But like, when you look at the lightweight division, who do you rate as better than Devin Haney? Lomachenko, you know, like, he's pound for pound star. Tell me another fight. I mean, I rate Luke Campbell as one of the best lightweights in the world. He had a good fight with Lomachenko, but, you know, he lost convincingly.
You know, this kid's gonna get better and better.
But who do you rate at lightweight better than Devin Haney? I'm sorry, Tiff. Yeah, I mean, if Tank's, I think, but look, Devin's sparred with Tank many times, and people know what happened there, and I'm sure he'll feed that in. That's a great fight. But, yeah, of course, great fight. Tank's going to struggle the more he moves up in weight, in my opinion. I mean, I think he's a phenomenal fighter, but I also think he's a featherweight that moved to super featherweight and now moves to lightweight, where he at all those divisions, he never really accomplished what he should have accomplished, which is probably being unified in every single division and maybe even being undisputed. But if you look at the current active lightweights, you have to really, you know, again, like talking about, I know Luke Campbell's one of my guys, but I can't see how you can compare Teofimo Lopez to Devin Haney right now. I think he's a different type of fighter. I mean, Lou's got Richard Comey, who he rates very high. Again, like, I just think there's so much more to come from Devin. He didn't get out of first gear tonight, let alone get to second gear. You know, and there's more levels to go beyond Zaha Abdullayev, but he's 20. I mean, we've got guys starting out at 20, 21, 22. Guys are at 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, and this guy's 23-0 at 20 years old. And you know what? When I found out about Devin Haney, that his dad looks after him, I was just thinking, oh, man. You know, Lou will tell you, dealing with fathers who represent their kids is a recipe for disaster. For Bill, it's exactly the opposite. Like, what he did with Devin, taking him to Mexico at 16 on his pro debut. I think he had his first 7 or 8 fights in Mexico in small, like, excuse the French, like poxy arenas, you know, like just, and that's where he learned his trade. And his work ethic is something I've never seen in the sport, never seen. For someone who lives in Vegas, got money, got everything. And that's the difference between him and some of the fighters we've just mentioned.
You also hear the term in boxing, man strength. You know, where a guy gets his man strength. You know, a 19 and 20-year-old kid doesn't have the same physicality in terms of like physical strength as he does when he's 22, 23, 24. I mean, some of the best guys, they may want to take him up on his offer and take those fights right now, because Devin Haney's going to be way more of a problem in 2 years than he is right now. I mean, he's already like a physical anomaly. He's a freak. I mean, he's a tremendous athlete. But when this kid gets physically stronger, he's going to be a real problem.
How soon do you think he's going to be moving up to, like, you know, sort of lightweight in both states?
Well, that was a conversation before this fight, but I have to say, fighters always tell you they made the weight okay. We knew when he fought Moran, he didn't make the weight great, and it was a concern going into this fight that, are we going to get the title? That's going to be a multi-weight world champion. He can't miss the boat at 135. That's got to be his first strap, and he's interim champion. It's not a real world title, we know that. We've got to get the real thing. But this fight, he made weight super comfortably. So that's reassuring. I think he has 2 to 3 fights left at 135. And then, so he has to win that world title before he moves to 140. He's talking about, he believes he can end up at 154. You know, but who knows? I mean, he's 20.
So you and Haney have to take the shot.
Yeah. You know, and I know that Lomachenko's a legend. Like, it's hard to call him out. Oh, Haney will do this, Haney. But all we're saying is that Lomachenko is going to wait for the winner. They tell me that both guys, Commey and Lopez, have agreed to fight Lomachenko if they win. Lou might tell us different. But, so, yeah, but he wants a belt. I mean, that's what Devin Haney wants. He wants to win a belt at 135. So what we're saying is, what are you saying?
Do you see, what do you think, Davis and Rumble fight before you see a Lomachenko?
No, I don't see either of them. I don't see either of them. I mean, Bob's not going to take a fight. But what I'm saying is, Lopez is fighting Commey in December. Lomachenko's waiting for the winner of that fight for the undisputed fight. That fight's not going to be till May. April, May, June. So what's he gonna? He boxed in August. So is he gonna sit out for 10 months, Lomachenko? If he fights in the interim, the fans should almost insist it's his mandatory challenger. If he fights for the undisputed, I understand. Every fighter should try and fight for the undisputed title. But if not, I believe he should face his mandatory. Lomachenko is not afraid of anyone. He'll probably look at Haney and go, I like that fight. I'm sure he wants to fight Gervonta Davis as well. But whether that fight will be allowed is another story.
Hey, Ed, how are you guys so sure that, with all due respect to Devin Haney, he's a great kid, but how do you know he's as great as you think he is without fighting the big name? I mean, Lomas made Nicholas Waters quit, Rigondeaux quit, he fought Gary Russell.
Oh, Lomachenko is a legend. As I said, like, you can't compare the two. You can't compare the resume.
Devin Haney a little too quick?
No, I think he boxed the number 2 in the WBC, who, understand, I wouldn't say he was an elite world level fighter, he's a world class fighter, made him look like a journeyman. Couldn't win a second of a round. Like, that was supposed to be a solid test tonight, and it's not just, I appreciate there's a lot more tests to come, but it's how he's dealing with these, how he's improving. And I just don't think that, in terms of current lightweights, there's much more of a tougher test than Lomachenko and Devin Haney. You know, I can't see how he can't give even Lomachenko a great fight. They think they can win. I mean, maybe Lomachenko's unbeatable. Maybe. But you can't, there's no one sitting here that says they wouldn't want to see Lomachenko against Devin Haney. Yeah, okay. But he did come in 5 pound heavy in that fight, Salido. He's a journeyman's a bit harsh. Cool. Salido's a journeyman. But don't say that in Mexico, you get shot.
Eddie, so with Devin Haney as the mandatory challenger for Lomachenko now, what kind of a fight should you be looking to make in November on the KSI Logan undercard? Is Devin Haney if he fights on?
He'll be defending his WBC interim title. So he'll be fighting most likely a top 15 guy from WBC. It's 8 weeks tonight. So he's just getting the all clear from the doctors, which we don't expect a problem. And he embraces that card. You know, I know there's been a lot of sort of talk about that card. Couldn't be more perfect for Devin Haney, that card. Couldn't be more perfect. The millennials, they love Devin Haney. Hopefully he wins millions of new fans on November the 9th.
Yeah.
Haney is great, but how do you know if you fight somebody maybe like the loser of Commey versus Lopez, or just somebody that, I mean, you said the guy that was fighting tonight, ranked up to the WBC, but I don't think you would put up in the top 5, weight class. So how do you really know if you fight somebody that's good grades, you think it's a good shot? How do you really know?
By fighting somebody great. Yeah, I mean, we want to do it. You know, we want to do it. And can I just have 3 or 4 easy fights now? He wanted to get the mandatory because he wants to fight Lomachenko. So let's find out. You know, I just think, I agree with both your comments that there are levels above, there's levels between Abdullayev and Lomachenko. And I'd like to see him go to those, you know, be in those levels. but he is mandatory. But he's dealing with those guys so easily, it gives me great confidence that he can deal with the rest. But, you know, I mean, I think they're bold. Like I said to them, you know, do you want to chase Lomachenko? Yeah, we do. We like that fight. I mean, they'll be here, you know, Bill will tell you they believe they can win that fight.
Okay, so in the past, you made these offers for, let's say, like trying to get the Javante St. Davis fight, Kevin Farmer under the zone. And would you be willing to do something like that to try to get Lomachenko?
Yeah, it won't work, but I might do it for fun.
Why wouldn't it work?
Well, because he's not allowed to box on another platform. You know, we had the whole thing with Crawler. You know, when Crawler was mandatory, we were going to go to purse bids. They told me clear, if you win the purse bids, we will vacate the belt. Lomachenko is not allowed to box on another network. So what I will do is I will make an offer to Lomachenko, because I think he's massively underpaid right now, and I will want to show him the levels that we would pay for a fight like that on the zone. Not going to be accepted in a million years. But I would let Devin Haney box Lomachenko on ESPN, no problem.
So with that being said, it's going to come to this Coach Stevenson when he said all the major promoters in the room, they concentrated on social thoughts.
Well, I mean, I'm a puppy, I guess. I've only been promoting 10 years, although I've been around boxing for 30 years. You're better off asking Lou DiBella. There's about as much chance of that happening as there is of Lou growing hair and me growing hair, or me losing weight. Well, yeah. I mean, it sounds like
you know, first of all, we still sometimes do make the biggest fights, you know, and people do move around on occasion when the money necessitates it, and fighters demand it, and promoters are able to work together. But we have different, right now there are, I hate that term, different streets, different sides of the street, but there are fighters who are attached to representation that's not going to let them move around, and or at least so easily. So it really, you know what, the fans and you guys have a lot to do with causing the demand for a fight to be sufficient enough to necessitate promoters working together. And you know what, I mean, a kid like a Devin Haney, who's going to be in Lomachenko's grill until he gets a big fight, his smack talk that some people, I heard a couple of people like buzzing when he started dissing Loma in the ring. But you know what, man, he's trying to do his thing to build the fight. He's trying to do his thing to create demand, and he's trying to show people he'll fight anybody on earth. So I respect that, and eventually, you know, the big fights do tend to happen. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer than we would like. Right now, there's some more impediments to making some of those fights happen. Look, it's unfortunate when you see guys out there basically saying, when a fighter himself is saying, I like Shakur saying, sit down and try to make the fights. That's cool. Like, I mean, respect to him for doing that. I've seen a lot of shit being said recently by a lot of fighters saying, I'm not fighting on this side of the street, I'm staying where I am. Fuck do you care what side of the street you're on? I mean, if you're a champion, you want to fight the best guys out there. At least I want to hear the fighters demanding the big fights. And then the public demanding the big fights, the writers calling for the big fights, the fighters demanding the big fights, then we're forced to talk. We're forced to communicate and try to figure out a way to make it happen. You know, they had to make Lennox Lewis and Tyson happen. They had to figure out a way. The pay-per-view was on multiple platforms, you know. I mean, Eddie sent some guys over to ESPN already. ESPN has sent people to DAZN. Ramirez fought Hooker on DAZN. You know, there is history. It can happen. It'll happen more often, but in order for it to happen more often, the fighters themselves have to demand it, the press has to demand it, and most importantly, the people paying the money, the fans have to demand it.
Hey, you said,
The Logan Paul and KSI press conference tomorrow in LA. How soon are you going to move forward, and is it a foregone conclusion that Devin Haney will be on that card?
Yeah, provided he gets signed off tonight, which he is almost a formality.
Did he even break a sweat?
No, I don't think so.
I think it was
But
fine.
yeah, so we'll announce that tomorrow. Basically, I'm leaving. We're flying soon to get there for tomorrow. About, you know, and I wanted to hear it from him, because get some people on social media. Oh, I said, he must be devastated going on that card. He asked to go on that card. You know, you've got millions of young people watching from around the world. He's 20 years old. He is the future of boxing. So there's no better audience for Devin Haney than that audience and bringing in new fans.
Hey Lou, what do you think of Eddie doing that Logan Paul card?
He's a massive Logan Paul fan.
I'm not, no, I get it, I'm not a Logan Paul fan. I said it already, I really don't. I mean, my brother was a suicide. I got real strong feelings about that. I got problems with some shit that Logan Paul did. But you know what? He's an internet sensation. He has a marketplace. The other dude is another guy who's got an internet sensation with a marketplace. And it's something that was already been proven when they fought the first time that people want to see it. So I mean, it's not my thing. I don't even know who the guys are really, but I mean, unfortunately, I don't know. Well, I don't know the other guy, but a lot of people do, and it's going to bring in eyeballs. And if you're DAZN, it makes sense, you know. And it is a. I don't believe necessarily that fight is going to bring a tremendous audience and move people to boxing fandom who aren't fans already. However, I do think it's going to bring eyeballs to DAZN, and I think that there is that millennial crowd that really follow the social media influencers or in that world. They're going to gravitate to the sport, and you know what? Maybe they do see a Devin Haney on the undercard, or another young fighter on the undercard, and it causes them to pay attention a little bit more to boxing. So, I mean, I don't view it the way I view a serious boxing event, but if people want to see something, people want to pay for it, and God bless them. I mean, so it's a free marketplace, it's a free world, and these guys, no question, look at the social media following that these dudes have, it's sort of remarkable. I don't get it necessarily, but then again, I'm 59 fucking years old.
Talk about specific performances, points that he wasn't trying to do too much, that he wasn't, trying to impress the crowd. I mean, he looked like he
It's
was
just-
seasoned veteran.
That's the thing. I mean, when you watch, like Lou talked earlier about Lomachenko's feet, Haney controls the distance so well. Like he's sliding in, he's holding, he's walking you back to the ropes, and he's back to the jab, he's spinning you around. Like all these things, for someone so young, that's what's remarkable. And it's not, like we talk about the level of opposition. It's not just the level of opposition, it's what he's doing in the ring, what he's doing to him. He's walking in with uppercuts. It's like he's like a genius. He doesn't watch tape of some fighters. He gets told what to do by Bill, but he works it out so quickly, and that's why you see him go through the gears. Like he was about to annihilate Abdullayev, like annihilate him, really hurt him, and he was just picking him, placing the shots. The body shots were incredible. Like it was the maturity that he shows, and forget work ethic, the maturity that he shows with his shot selection, his feet, everything. It's I haven't seen it before. I was lucky enough to promote Lomachenko 2 weeks ago in London, and again watching that same thing. Doesn't quite do it with the same speed as Haney, but obviously again he's just on another level. But I still struggle to get my head around. He's 24-0, 20 years old.
But if you watched him when he was 8-0 or 10-0, and you watch him now, he's so much better. He's so much better. I mean, not to say, if you saw him at 17, 18, you knew he was going to be something. He could fight. He had all this ability. But in terms of how quickly he's getting better, and he's.
Lou, they took him all around the gym sparring and still do. His dad drives him everywhere. LA, he toured the sparring at the Wild Card, and in Vegas. That's how you get better. You get better by getting in there with guys that are more seasoned than you are and have more experience than you are. And he's a guy that's just really, really getting better. Talk of the devil, ladies and gentlemen, round of applause, Mr. Devin Haney.
Good night, Eddie. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you, Boo.
Champ is here.
Champ is
Champ is here. Champ is here.
The main man is here, WBC interim world champion. I'm going to come over here because I feel a bit sad over there. Questions for the champ, guys?
Could you rate his performance in 0-7?
I will have to go back and really watch the fight, but I feel like I put a great performance on. I really was just warming up. I didn't get a chance to really, let my hands go like I wanted to. Like I said, I was just warming up. I started to let my hands go, and then the fight was stopped.
Were you planning to like heat up in like the 5th, 6th, 7th round? You saw you using the jab, controlling the distance. It seemed like, as you said earlier, you didn't lose first gear.
Yeah, coming in the fight, my dad told me just to go in there, use my jab, stay relaxed, let everything come, and that's what I did. I went in there. I started working the body. I started warming up. I started, catching his rhythm, seeing what he was doing, and then the fight was pretty much stopped.
This is six of the women's alliance opponents today. Do you have anything?
Abdullah, he is a tough opponent. I just went in there, I put on a great performance, and I made him look easy. But if he fought anyone else, he might be a tough fight for them. He was undefeated. He was the number 2 contender. He was a WBC silver champion, and on paper, he was supposed to be my hardest opponent. So I went in there. I trained very hard for this fight. I sacrificed a lot. I had a good training camp, and I went in there and I made the fight look easy. But for anybody else, who knows if he would give them a test or not.
They said, maybe his cheek was broken. Do you know what you caught him with?
It looked like it was a right hook that I caught him with, but like I said, I really don't know. I started hitting him with some good shots. I hit him with some good uppercuts, some good right hooks, some good jabs. So I really don't know what shot did it, but I hit him with a jab and his nose just started leaking. So I don't really know what shot it was.
The doctors said they think it was a nose and a cheekbone, both broken.
We spoke about your last knockout when you got a stoppage here. Which one did you like better? The 2 different type of knockouts or stoppages? You pick which one you preferred?
On paper, Abdullah was, a much tougher opponent. A lot of people were saying that this was going to be a real test. He was going to go in there and make it a dog fight, and he was a very hard puncher. So this performance means more. Of course, the knockout was sensational. It was a viral knockout. But this fight meant a lot more.
Now, Eddie and Devin, obviously the fight now being over, everything seems to check out on the medical side at least, from what it seems. Are we going to see Devin back November the 9th in Los Angeles?
Yeah, that's the plan. I mean, we're going to talk to Bill and Devin. I mean, obviously, in the ring after the adrenaline's going, and they both said 100%, let's go for that. The slot's there for him. I think he's the absolute perfect audience for Devin Haney. Millions of young people watching around the world. I think if you're going to bring someone into the sport of boxing, what Lou said, I don't think, these people necessarily will stick to boxing. Well, they won't if they don't see something that makes them go, wow. Luckily, we've got something that makes you go, wow. And that's Devin Haney. So with these millions of young people watching around the world, if they witness Devin Haney, they're going to be a fan and they're going to stick. So if Bill and Devin say tomorrow, Monday, tonight, November 9th, it's 8 weeks tonight, perfect. Can have a little rest for a few days, and then I think that would be the perfect platform, sold out Staples Center.
I got a question for Eddie. Eddie, is the press conference tomorrow? Or is it?
Yeah.
You think I can get the first flight out to the press conference out there in LA?
You want to do that?
Yeah, I think
You
so.
sure?
I think so. I'm ready for November 9th. I went in there, I didn't take, hardly any punishment. Of course, I had a hard training camp, so of course I want to take a few days off, but I want to get back in the ring as soon as possible.
Now, I know that you haven't been on your phone, you've been taking care of other things, but Logan Paul actually mentioned Eddie Hearn and requested for you to be on that undercard. He said, Eddie, could we make this happen? So
Well, he's a big fan. He was watching tonight, and there's been a lot of chat from, like I said, from the internet saying, it's an insult a fighter going on the undercard of fight. It's 20,000 people at the Staples Center. Showcase your talent.
Devin, speaking of a global platform to showcase your talent, is there any style of opponent or a specific opponent that you want to showcase what you're made out of on the undercard of Logan Paul?
That's really up to my team. I'm willing to fight whoever, and I've been saying this for a long time. Whoever they put in front of me, I'll be, I'm able to adjust to anybody. I feel like I'm one of the best fighters in the world, and I'm willing to, showcase my skills against whoever they put in front of me.
You just headlined possibly Jefferson fight prior to the undercard
Say it again.
Jefferson fight prior to the undercard case.
Oh, no, they have a big following, and like you said, I just headline here. I'm going on their card, and I'm happy to be on the card. Like I said, it's good for boxing, and it's gonna bring a lot more fans, to Devin Haney and to boxing period.
Very good.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Your fight in the ring is unbelievable. It shows that it's showing that you're a lot older than over 20. But talk about your dad and what he means to you in your professional career. What he brings to the table in boxing.
My dad means so much. He means everything to my career. My dad was the first person, who brought me to the gym. He taught me how to throw my first jab before I was even boxing. He taught me. Without my dad, I wouldn't be here. My dad, he came up, really with the game plan to go in there in the ring tonight, and I just went in there and executed it. Like I said, without my dad, he doesn't get a lot of attention because people they try to say oh this trainer, but really my dad is behind the science behind Devin Haney. I've been saying this now, I'm only getting better, and that's why I keep saying those guys, but they better fight me now because as they get worse for them. I train hard in the things, and I'm a student of the game, so every fight I'm gonna get better.
Now, I see you're here at 135. How long will it be until you start to move up to 140, 147? What do you?
My weight cut went actually really good for this fight. I felt great. I'll stay at 135, if I can get a big fight, but I'm not gonna stay here, forever. I'm not gonna stay here, too long, but I'm willing to stay here for, a little bit longer, because I want to get a title at 135 and then move up. I don't want to, miss the 135 division, without getting a title. I want to be a multi-weight, multi-division world champion. So, it starts at 135.
There was a few people here that feel like you're too green for Lomachenko. I personally feel like that you would defeat Lomachenko. What do you see in Vasil Lomachenko? I believe I see what you see in Lomachenko, that you can defeat him. But there's some people that here tonight that think you're too green.
Lomachenko is a great fighter. I take nothing away from him. And that's exactly why I want to fight him, because he's a great fighter. And no disrespect to, any of his other opponents, but it was obviously, too green for him too. So if I'm too green, let me just go on the list with all the other green fighters that he fought.
That's right money, that's right money. That's right money.
That's why he's the dream.
I've got a question for Bill. How do you assess Devin's performance tonight? And the second part of that question, do you feel that he's ready for something like Lomachenko, considering his amateur career and what he's doing like?
I mean, every fight, Devin is getting better and better, and like he keeps reiterating, it's only going to get worse. I think he did great with this fight. I mean, we expected him to go in and use his jab, kind of like the Floyd thing. Everyone wants saw the last fight and saw the knockout, and he kind of like was thinking about his right hand. But all through camp, I stressed that his jab, he has the best jab in the business, and he went out and he broke him down with his jab, and he set up the right hand.
Mandatory fight against Lomachenko. If you take a fight in November, won't that allow Lomachenko to take a fight before the unification match?
Well, Lomachenko is already going to fight the unification match. That's pretty much set in stone. There's nothing we really can do about that. So I'm not going to just sit around and wait for Lomachenko. Of course, I want to stay busy. So I'm going to defend my interim world title, and we'll see what happens.
I know you'll fight just about anybody. You'll fight Lomachenko. You'll fight like Alex if you want to. But would you rather see your son fight somebody like a Luke Campbell, some guys that are like up there in the rankings before you just jump to Lomachenko? You just wanted to fight Lomachenko off the bat if you had it.
Well, I mean, we wanted to fight originally Luke Campbell, for for the title, you know, and that was what we went into it with Eddie in hopes that we could have made that fight happen. I think he's had 5 fights on television now, and I think they've been flawless performances. As far as Lomachenko, I don't see anyone on Lomachenko's list that Devin couldn't handle as well. I don't see it as being a problem. So I mean, of course, we want Lomachenko. He wants to make the biggest fights and the best fights, and part of the reason of, I'm guessing, is going with Eddie as well is because he makes the best fights, you know, and I think he's gonna make the fight with Lomachenko sooner or later.
One thing that I can say is, if I'm just so easy, if I'm so green, if I'm not ready, why not just fight me and beat me, get me out the way? If I saw somebody and it was just an easy payday and it was just something, I would fight him too. So why not just fight me and get me out the way? I'm talking a lot, I'm making a lot of buzz, I'm calling his name every single day. I DM'd him on Instagram, he didn't respond. Why not just get me out the way?
Oh, you a beast! Oh, you a beast!
Lomachenko can't beat you, Devin.
Not easy, not green.
The press conference and then we're walking over.
Oh, well, before he starts getting too expensive, I'd love to get him to the UK. You know, actually, after the fight, I went on social media to watch him. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, and every boxing fan in the UK is staying up to watch it. You know, I'd even like to take him to Saudi Arabia and box on the Joshua. I mean, there's so many things that I want to do, and part of the plan is to box him all over America as well. You know, we've done Washington now, we've done New York, now we do LA, but there's also the UK, there's the Middle East, there's Asia. You know, when you talk about building a global star, this is what I keep saying about Saudi Arabia. You know, people moan about Saudi Arabia. It's another world out there. America's a great country, so is Britain, but it's a big place. You know, and the people of the Middle East, the people of the Far East, you know, the people in Asia, everyone can be a Devin Haney fan. So I feel like if you're selling boxing, this is the person that you want to showcase the sport.
That's right, Eddie, that's right.
Yeah!
That's right, Eddie.
What time is it?
Hey, time.
What do we need?
Lomachenko, beat up Lomachenko.
Lomachenko, I came out there, like I mentioned, is Mike Garcia. I heard, Eddie heard, possibly, Mike joining the zone. Why not Mike Garcia? Lobo doesn't want to face him. 135, 40.
I don't think you see Garcia at 35 again, but 40 maybe. I mean, all these fights.
I'm asking Haney. Haney, what do you think? What do you think? I mean,
Right,
Mike's the name out there.
Yeah, like
What do you call Mikey?
like Eddie said, I really don't know what weight class he's gonna fight at. I heard that he was coming back at 147, but like I said, I can say this, over and over and over again. I'm not turning down no smoke. I'm willing to fight the best fighters. I'm willing to fight everybody. I want to showcase my skills, and I'm ready for whoever.
He was campaigning while Mikey Garcia was champ. We were campaigning in the WBC. He was one of the guys that was on the list as well. So, Mikey.
Like even at 140, the matchups are just like Devin against Jose Ramirez.
They're all there.
Great fight. Jose against the winner of Progress against Taylor. Devin against the winner of Progress against Taylor. Great fight. Javonte Davis. I mean, they've got history. They won that fight bad. The future. I mean, again, 20. All this ahead of him. I said to him tonight, the world is your oyster. It really is.
Yes. Coming into the division, bringing a lot of noise. Are you going to fight Tank down the road? Is that a fight that you would like to have if you don't get Lomachenko? Yes.
Of course, that's a big fight for me. I would love that fight. Like I said, I could keep saying this over and over and over again.
Anybody can get it. Anybody can get it. Anybody can get it.
Have you guys ever had a conversation about you fighting Tank, and what does he say to you about that?
No, we never had a conversation about that. Floyd's a smart guy, you know that, right?
Hey, Devin, let's talk about also you being a promoter as well. I mean, you're a boxer, but also the DHP right behind you. You had some promotion going on. What's that experience like having that on the zone and being a fighter / promoter?
You know, it's great. My fighter, Darren Cunningham, he fought on the card.
There you go, right there. DC3. DC3.
He's somewhere around here, but you know, he went in there. He got the rounds in, and you know, I'm happy for him. And his don't need to start. You know, as I get bigger, you know, my company is only going to get bigger, and you know, I'm just happy with the way everything is going.
Ooh.
Oh, of course. I would love to go back home and fight. You know, that'd be crazy. Yeah, that'd be lit. You know, that's a dream come true. We were looking to fight there. You know, for this fight.
Now, we know that you had back and forth with Robert Easter. Is that a fight that you pursued?
No. I remember a time where I wanted to fight Robert Easter, and he was acting like I didn't exist, and he was like dissing me, saying, "Who am I?" and nobody knew me. So, guess what? Who is that? I don't even know him. I
All right, guys, we have two more.
Dev, another fight that you've had before in the amateurs is Ryan Garcia. He was supposed to fight tomorrow.
Fun Golden Boy.
Yeah, I don't know.
We got the opponents.
Let's go. I'm ready. Show me the money.
But is that a fight that realistically you would want? Because I mean, you'd have to think the way you're looking that they'd be ducking that fight, right? I mean, you guys have fought already in the amateurs. Is that a fight that you're gonna be looking for?
I don't know if they ducking the fight or not. I seen Oscar did an interview. I want to say yesterday or the day before, saying how he was gonna watch my fight, and that was a fight that they wanted to make happen. So yeah, of course, you know, I think that can be a big fight one day, and we can make it happen. You know, a lot of people are interested in that fight, and one day that fight will happen. As long as he keeps winning. No shade though, no shade.
All right, guys, wouldn't be the same without your support. Thank you so much for coming tonight and supporting Devin Haney. Thank you very much.
Haney time!
Belts!